So, Stu, I can tell you that when the agency as a whole, our budget was roughly left flat. So we're Department of Agriculture is largely a regulatory agency. Probably 85% of what we do is regulatory. Um, those numbers in dollars have stayed roughly what they were last year. Um, if you look at the fairgrounds where we're at today, the improvements that have been made over the last 5, 6 years, unbelievable. I've been in this position 5.5 years. If we look at like our meat and poultry inspectors, for instance, when I came into this position in 2020, we had 73 inspectors. I think we're at 104, the most we've had in the history of the agency that I'm aware of. So in general, I think things in this last session, budget-wise, for Department of Agriculture, have roughly been maintained. I will caution a large part of what may happen in the future is contingent on the federal budget, monies that we get from the federal government. As you're well aware, there are a number of pass-through grants that occur from the federal government to the state and then out to producers. So that's of concern right now, and hopefully we'll know, what the federal budget looks like within the next month.
A lot of the organizations, it seemed like they kept pretty much but with a little bit of increase that for their funding. It seemed like they turned out pretty well.
In general, it's when you say a little bit, it's a very little bit. There are some minor cuts as well in the budget, but generally, when you look at our budget, we were essentially held flat.
Soil and water has been had a tough time.
Yes.
Not sure what they didn't. Their proposal just made it through the Senate, but not the House. Not sure what's going to happen. Do you have any ideas on what will happen for funding for soil and water conservation districts?
So I can tell you the administration funding has been left level at 7.5 million. There's always been a member initiative besides that, which has been roughly in like the $4 million range. Unfortunately, last year the General Assembly did not do that member initiative. This year it wasn't done as well. And not exactly sure what that situation is. It's a legislative issue that needs to be worked through. Soil and water conservation districts in the state of Illinois are very important. I am happy to tell you that cover crop funding, that was restored to the 960,000 from the 660. So, there's an extra 300,000 there. But soil and water conservation districts, that's something that needs to be worked out with the legislature. As you know, from 2011 till 2019, I was in the legislature, chaired Ag and Conservation. That member initiative is something that I always pushed for in the budget. So I would encourage people to talk to their legislators about making sure soil and water conservation districts are funded with that member initiative.
What have I not asked about that you'd like farmers to know?
So, I would tell you right now, and this has been something that I think we've all been aware of, 24, 25, 26 are pretty rough years for farmers in general. If you look at where commodity prices are, obviously trade war instability, up, down, it's constantly changing. Agriculture is an area where farmers are businessmen and women. They need stability. They need to be able to plan for the future. Those situations, especially the trade policy, is something that I would hope gets worked out, and there is consistent stability for farmers to be able to plan. We're here with Illinois beef right now. Beef is probably the strong point in agriculture. From a diversity aspect, many row crop farmers also have cattle. Obviously, beef producers in general, the diversity is there. Many of the folks we're with here today, that's their primary focus as a producer. row crops commodity prices are down, and unfortunately, if you look at input costs, while they've decreased a little bit, they haven't drastically decreased like commodity prices have. So, in general, farming's it's a pretty tough occupation right now.